You see it in the commissioner's actions. We see it in Todd Lyons' actions every day. And so we're just getting started, right? If you think 2025 was a good year, 2026 says, hold my beer. You guys have a good day.
So if you just said to yourself, like, what a dick. Yeah. Yeah. That dick is Michael Banks, and he is the chief of Border Patrol. And him, saying all this bullshit about like, hold my beer, and you thought it was bad and it's going to get worse and all that stuff, so he can get a smile out of, Ice Barbie sitting behind him. Where do you find a guy like that? Right. You know where you find him? You find him as a special advisor to Greg Abbott as the border czar, right? The special advisor on immigration matters. You find him coming from a place like Ajo Station, which was a sector of the border where they have twice as many use of force incidents as assaults on officers, right? You find him coming from a place where the Texas system won't even turn over emails or communications between this guy and other immigration agencies. Like, they suddenly can't seem to find about 90% of it. And then when they do find it, when they do find a couple emails, those emails are to groups that are designated as hate groups from the Southern Poverty Law Center. And one of them is about talking to congressional staffers and training them on immigration policies. That's where you find a guy like that. You find a guy who was getting paid even more than the governor of Texas. And you got to wonder about that. So that's where you find a Michael Banks guy who is, throwing these hold my beer, things after a disastrous 2025 and 2026 so far, where we are consistently losing the lives of human beings and children are getting snatched. And this guy's like, oh, we're just getting started. That's where you find that guy. Oh, and by the way, Ajo Station, where he came from, right before he started doing the border czar stuff for Abbott, second highest use of force incidents in the country. What was number one? El Centro. Guess who ran that section? Greg Bovino. Yeah. So peas in a pod, all these motherfuckers. And so when this guy comes out and he starts saying this, hold my beer stuff, you got to remember they have to keep the bluster up. And I absolutely think that they would intend to do all of these things, but they have been taking some hard hits, not nearly as many as they should, but 700 people being drawn down from Metro Surge in Minneapolis. It needs to be all of them. Big discussions on the Hill as far as body cams for every agent, which I believe they're going down that road now. But we need to unmask these agents. No more warrantless arrests, all of these things. And as a side note, any Democrat who votes at any point in any future to give a penny to ICE after they got billions of dollars in the big, beautiful bullshit bill, they need to go. Like, there's no world where they need one more fucking penny. They have like more than the Marine Corps now. They don't need a penny. But that's one of those things that needs to be in the background if you're thinking. But Michael Banks, this guy, he's going to throw this bullshit. He's going to say all these things. And there's a part of them that are very worried about the pushback that has happened recently, and the fact that protests, the fact that economic boycotts, the shutdowns, all of those things worked, right? And had an effect on what was happening and have led to changes. Unfortunately, we lost life in doing that. And there'll still be people being taken advantage of and being targeted and assaulted and raped and in concentration camps and all of those things. And the focus on that never has to stop. That, the fucking files, right, never has to stop and should never stop. That's the kind of stuff. But when you hear a guy talk like this, I hope it provides you motivation to just work a little bit harder and push a little bit more to get these guys, right? These are the kind of guys who need to be in front of juries. They have to be in front of juries at some point in the future. And they can talk all their bullshit, but there's a part of them that worries about that. And they've got to be held accountable. So, yeah, this guy's a dick.